So this is a retake of the previous video where I showed why one of my switches that I just newly wired, there are two switches, smart switches, but I wired and I had wired one of them and that one wasn't working, but now it's working. And what I did is I had not wired this particular switch first, but this is the switch that had the incoming hot going to the outgoing hot, and I had just disconnected the outgoing hot, and because of that the hot from the first switch, because they're in serial, the hot goes in serial from one switch to the other. So if you disconnect the outgoing hot from one switch, even if you wired the other switch, it wouldn't work because there's no hot going from the first switch to the second switch. So what I did here is I started to wire the new smart switch, and as a result of that I used a wire nut to connect the incoming hot to the outgoing hot, and as a result of that the other switch that I had wired, it's now working. And you can see over here it's ready to sync and be connected to the Google Home uh, app, and it's ready to be connected to Wi-Fi. And this is the same connection. I didn't do anything to this connection. So the outgoing hot from that switch comes to the incoming hot of this switch, which and so now as a result of that this is all working. uh, and also the fan and the lights are working, and you can operate the switch independent of the Wi-Fi connection. It just works like a manual switch. You can turn it off and turns off the fan and the light, and you can turn it on back on again. So that was the thing about wiring. What I learned from this is in any of the wiring in the house, whenever you see two connections together on a hot, it means there's one incoming and one outgoing. And it if you're rewiring things, then if you disconnect the outgoing hot, then the other devices aren't going to work even if you rewire or reconnect them. So I guess the solution is probably to only rewire one device at a time, so that you are not affecting the hot of the other devices. That would be one solution. And then you only test the device that you're rewiring, because the incoming hot is always guaranteed to work for that device that you're replacing. So if you do it one at a time, then you won't have this problem. If you're rewiring multiple of them at a time, like I tried to do over here for these two switches, then you're stuck with the problem of knowing which is the first device that's receiving the hot and sending it to the other devices. Or the other way out would be you don't disconnect any of the connections. If I had not disconnected the connection of the switch of the outgoing hot and the incoming hot, then the other devices would have worked, which in this case was the other switch over there. So that's probably the other way of doing it.